Thank you, everyone, for being here today. So before we start, I'd like you to all take a moment and close your eyes. What do you think about, or what do you picture in your mind's eye when you hear the word senior citizen or elderly? What kind of visual do you have? Do you think about someone with limited mobility? Someone maybe with gray hair? Someone who's very lonely and isolated? Or maybe a grandma in a rocking chair? So those are all, of course, our stereotypes of older adults. You can open your eyes now. And these stereotypes do not reflect the fact that the majority of persons over the age of 65 consider themselves in good health. The demographic is extremely heterogeneous and diverse, differing in life expectancy, cultural background, genetics, and health history. There are many older adults who defy the image of being frail and helpless, with many making valuable contributions to society. I recently read about an older woman who was in her 90s who climbed Mount Everest, and a man who was 90 who earned a PhD, and an 86-year-old nun who completed an Ironman race. I don't know about you, but I would not be able to do that at any age, let alone at 86. So the demographic can potentially be the longest stage of one's life, ranging from 55 years of age all the way to 105 or even older. It's important to note that language matters and can have an impact on the lived experiences of older adults in the community. It can affect how older adults see themselves, how others see older adults, and how society views older adults. Research has shown that negative age beliefs adversely affect a wide array of health outcomes. So with all that being said, it is true that as we age, we will all face some challenges or barriers. It's important to recognize that persons may experience disadvantage in unique ways based on the intersection of age and other aspects of their identity, such as language, culture, ethnicity. Some older adults may experience health challenges. As we age, the prevalence of disabilities and chronic conditions increases. There may be physical health challenges, such as vision or hearing loss, loss of mobility, serious illness such as cancer or heart disease, and possibly mental health concerns such as memory loss, cognitive decline, depression due to social isolation. We may experience challenges with our finances as we age. All of a sudden, we're living on a limited income. Many older adults experience social isolation, perhaps due to the death of a spouse or close family, friends, the loss of their social network after retirement. 500,000 older Canadians report feeling socially isolated. 750,000 report being lonely. The negative impacts of social isolation are many and include association with poor health outcomes, including a heightened risk of mortality, increased risk of dementia, depression, suicide, increased risk of falls, and increased risk of experiencing elder abuse. We may experience challenges with transportation. Perhaps we've lost our driver's license and we have limited mobility. We're afraid of going out in the winter, afraid of falling on the ice. We may experience loss of independence. All of a sudden, we need to rely on family or friends for help with household chores, such as grocery shopping, banking, and that can affect our self-esteem. And finally, ageism. Ageism is the stereotyping, prejudice, and discrimination of individuals based on their age. Ageism is widespread and can have harmful effects on the health of older adults. For older people, ageism is an everyday challenge, overlooked for employment, restricted from social services, and stereotyped in the media. Ageism marginalizes and excludes older people in their communities. Ageism is everywhere, yet it is the most socially normalized of any prejudice and is not widely countered like racism or sexism. And with the pandemic, there has been a parallel outbreak of ageism. Oh, I think we are all guilty of this at times. I've heard myself saying things like, oh, I must be getting old, I can't find my keys now, or I'm having a senior moment. Or how often do we say to someone, oh, you look good for your age? So those are all examples of ageism and something that we should all be careful of. So newcomers may face these barriers, but they can also encounter many more, such as language barriers. Language ability can have a major impact on employment, accessing services, ability to be independent, going to the doctor on your own, shopping, banking, and even socializing with neighbors. Lack of employment opportunities in Canada. They may be disappointed. Perhaps an older adult senior was expecting that they'd be able to work when they arrived in Canada, but the reality is a little bit different. Perhaps they are trying to get their credentials recognized here, and they're realizing that the process can be very long and difficult. They have difficulty adjusting to a new climate. As I'm sure we all know, adjusting to winters in Canada is not easy. Many senior newcomers, as I mentioned before, many seniors themselves are afraid of falling on the ice, and that can result in further isolation. Cultural challenges, difficulty adjusting to new cultural norms and male-female roles. Loss of status. They may feel that elders in their home country were more respected. They may have had professional status in their home country, and their status within the family may have changed. Navigating unfamiliar systems is challenging, such as healthcare, taxes, housing. Racism and discrimination can reduce or can increase social isolation. Depleted social networks. It can be very difficult to establish new social networks due to language and cultural barriers. If they're not in the workforce, that makes it even more challenging. They're not attending school. And loneliness and social isolation is identified as the greatest challenge faced by immigrant seniors. And family conflicts. Some seniors were brought to Canada to provide childcare for their grandchildren, and many live in multi-generational households, which can be wonderful for some families, but in others can lead to stress on the family. The older adult may lack independence and outside support, which can lead to a risk of elder abuse, whether it be financial or other forms. And finally, unfulfilled immigration expectations. Perhaps they were looking forward to a high standard of living and possibly employment opportunities. And when they get here, they see that's not the case, and that can lead to frustration, disappointment, and depression. So of course, all of these barriers may or may not be an issue. Sometimes things like the reason that they came to Canada, that can have an effect on that. Many are happy to be here. They've come to be closer to family and friends, but others, if they came as a refugee, did not have a choice. Some have large support systems, many family, but others are here all alone. So it is clear that the benefits of volunteering to any individual are huge, but the benefits of volunteering for newcomer seniors are the same, but for many newcomer seniors can be so much more important and impactful. It can reduce their social isolation. The volunteering connects you with others. They make new friends. It's an opportunity to build a new social network. Enjoyment. They are having fun. It can bring back fond memories of their childhood. It can give them a sense of purpose and meaningful activity. They're feeling like they accomplished something. They're feeling like they're giving back to their new community, feeling needed and respected, and like they have something to contribute. It can improve their physical and mental well-being. Improve their health, sorry. And they're all of a sudden, they're able to be more active. They're walking to the program. It can reduce their stress and anxiety, and they may experience so-called helper's high. It can reduce ageist attitudes. So age segregation, which is the separation of people based on their age, is closely linked to ageism because it promotes an us and them perspective. So greater understanding leads to decreased ageist attitudes in both directions. It can give the older adults an increased sense of belonging in their new community. They've made new friends. They now have a new support system. It's a wonderful opportunity to practice their language skills. Songs and rhymes can help with language. It's an opportunity to practice their language in an informal, supportive setting. An opportunity for meaningful relationships with children that they may not have due to distance from their own children or grandchildren. That's it for me today. Thanks so much for listening. Now I'm going to pass it back to Jean.
Thank you, Maureen, for telling us all those benefits for seniors, and we certainly have seen that at Mosaic. I want to talk a little bit now about the value of intergenerational programming for the children. So when we think about the children in an intergenerational volunteering program, the program creates opportunities for young children to connect with seniors, which helps build understanding and mutual respect between the generations. It can provide grandparent figures for young children who may not have their own grandparents close by. And as the relationship with the senior develops, the child gradually and confident to engage with the senior without having the parents as close by. This builds the child's independence and expands the child's circle of trusting relationships. And we know developmentally, young children need many opportunities to hear and engage in conversation in order to expand their language skills and build their social skills. It's been so exciting to watch as these little children have gained confidence in all of these areas. The children, as well as the seniors, loved making new friends. We've witnessed firsthand the value of these two generations playing and having fun together while their parents are close by. The intergenerational programs lead to healthier, more connected communities where children benefit from having these very important relationships with seniors. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about how we organized the program and how we prepared the seniors, introduced them to the children. So before introducing the seniors to the children, we took several steps. The first step was for the program facilitators to build relationships with the seniors and to provide them with a program and training to ensure that they would have the support and understanding of child development that they needed to be successful in building a relationship with a young child. We also valued the skills and knowledge the seniors were bringing with them, and we wanted opportunities for the seniors to share these with us and with the children. Our next step was to begin to involve the children and their parents in the program with the seniors. We respected that young children needed their parents' support in connecting to new adults, so we did activities that involved all three generations. The parents provided the important bridge to connect the seniors with the children, and as the children gradually felt more comfortable with seniors, the parents could back away. And as the process developed, we made sure that we had programs available for the parents to be involved in close to where the children were playing. So that was an added benefit, that the parents also got programming while the seniors and children were involved with each other. So prior to involving the seniors with the children, we first prepared the program facilitators, or the family support workers from the different organizations, in supporting the seniors by providing training on how to support healthy relationships and optimal child development. So all of the training and preparation for the intergenerational program was founded on the principles of a program called Positive Discipline in Everyday Parenting. Positive discipline in everyday parenting describes a non-violent approach to teaching our children while being respectful of the child as a learner and individual human being. It's an approach to caring for, teaching, guiding children with the goal of healthy development. And these are principles that we have found are critical for all relationships. So, what came next? Once the program facilitators completed their training in positive discipline and everyday parenting, they were provided with additional training, all based on the concepts of positive discipline. This training included trauma-informed care, understanding attachment, information on play and all the stages of play, including what it looks like when adults play, and how to use listening and talking tools to build relationships. The concepts of positive discipline and everyday parenting that all the training and program are based on are rights-based, and this means the programs respect human rights for all children and seniors. And part of supporting the seniors in understanding children's rights was help understand that children may take time to bond with them. It was important to help the seniors understand that they needed to allow children to do this at their own pace. Asking before touching or hugging a child, and giving the child time they need to feel safe and comfortable. It was relationship-based, and the tools from positive discipline and everyday parenting that program facilitators used in programs with seniors, supporting the seniors and using with children were warmth, which is safety and security, structure, providing support and information, understanding child development, and problem solving together. So this was quite a long process where we supported the program facilitators in supporting the seniors in this learning process. So once the program facilitators were trained, able to pass their training on to the seniors. And next slide, thanks. They did this with lots of hands-on activities, which helped the seniors learn about child development. It's an exciting and fun time for everybody. The next step we took was inviting the seniors to share the creative ideas and skills to set up invitations to play for the children. And they had so much fun thinking about what they could share with the children. And then we were ready to introduce the seniors to the parents and children together. We understood that children need to see a trusting relationship between their parent and the senior so that they can gradually transfer their trust to a relationship with the senior. The initial program involved the parents and children with the seniors together. And then the child and senior gradually built their own special relationship with each other. And we saw so many benefits here to the children as well as the seniors. But we saw that the child had a new relationship in their life. They were learning about another generation. They had opportunities for language development, social skills. They were learning about a culture other than their own family culture. And they were experiencing a gentle, caring relationship with a senior who was providing them with both warmth and structure. So now I'm going to pass it over to Amna, who's going to talk a bit more about what the program looked like at Mosaic when we implemented it. So to you.
Thank you, Jean. My name is Amna, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm very excited to present something that has a very special place in my heart. When Jean, came to me and told me that there's this project that I would like you to get involved in, it was very, very special for me because I personally grew up in a family with all three generations together. So my grandmother was the matriarch, and then my parents and my siblings and myself. So this 3-generation model seemed very natural to me. And knowing everything that is that Maureen has talked about, as we know, as we age, there's so many things that we face: ageism, financial hardships. There could be mobility issues. And if you add to the mix, I won't go into details as Maureen has already spoken about this, If we add to this mix newcomer seniors who are dealing with, they might come from a trauma background, they might come from a war zone, they might not know English too well. So you can see a program like this addresses so many of those concerns and gives them an opportunity to volunteer with children. We modeled this on what we called Mosaic's family literacy programs, as you can see in the next part. And these are literacy programs where children, families, and of course, in our case, our grandfriends or seniors get to learn language in a very comfortable and safe and special place, which is based on rhymes and stories. It's the natural way our language is learned. And, we also make sure that people are interacting with each other in a very natural way. And moving to the next slide, please. One of the things that is very important for us in programming is building connections over our content. So we're very well trained as facilitators to make sure our content is covered. But more important than that is our connection with people, whether they're 3 or 73. We want to make sure that our connection is very strong with people, so they feel comfortable. And that's one of the reasons why people keep coming back again and again and again to our programs. And we saw that for sure with this program as well. And we have what is called the parallel process. So when we were trained in Ottawa by our mentors and trainers, as arranged by Families Canada, so we learned some really important things like trauma-informed care and how to approach seniors who may have so many other issues going on. Maybe they have vision issues or hearing issues. So, and also like how to create an environment which was really, based on the principles of positive discipline. And it's, as you can see, it's called the parallel process. So we learned it out from our mentors, and we created the same space for our children and our seniors in our programming. And we were modeling it for them to then model it to the children that we volunteered with. So it's value-based, and it increases self-worth. As you can imagine, as you're coming again and again to the program, you're getting more comfortable around many people and age groups. It's everyone's rights are respected. And then we respect all kinds of cultural understandings and try to include in ways that everyone can feel comfortable. And I've already mentioned that it's based on positive discipline. So moving to the next slide, how did we go about implementing this program? So one of the first steps for us was recruiting our seniors, and we were very fortunate to have other organizations that we worked with, for instance, A+O Support Services for older adults. I hope I got the whole name right. And of course, Knox Church, they had a lot of seniors that we were able to recruit for this program. And our personal connections to other organizations and people that really helped us. It was a long process. It took us about 2 months to get all our seniors recruited, but it was worth those relationships really helped us. And then from the recruitment, we, if you can go to the next part, David. Yeah, we created a team of our facilitators. So we drew on our best, kindest, most empathetic facilitators who were able to interact with all 3 generations. So, facilitators who would be very special around children and with seniors. So this was a dream team for us. Our orientation was drawn straight from our training in Ottawa. It was very helpful to have that training. So we implemented it. Instead of 1 day, we actually broke it down into 2 days so we could have dinner followed by the orientation. That was really special. The orientation had many, many things that we drew from our training. And one of them, if I can mention, is the stress volcano. How, something like we could demonstrate in front of our seniors what stress looks like, and a 3D form. That was really helpful. And then moving on, we had our seniors do positive discipline for everyday parenting for many weeks before we actually started them with the volunteering part. So we were at that point very comfortable that they are safe around children. They have the concepts of warmth and structure. We also did additional programming like talking tools that we learned in Ottawa. So all these things were very helpful for the seniors. And as you can imagine, any gathering that has food is lovely. So we made sure we had lots of ethnic variety of foods. So our seniors are very appreciated. Some of them would ask, oh, next time, can you bring this kind of food? And we also made sure that we met their nutrition needs. So every time we made sure that we had fresh food, fruits and vegetables. And we also made sure there was ample variety of everything, so that if seniors wanted to take some things home, they were most welcome to. And that also gave us an insight into how much food insecurity is an issue. And of course, there were bus tokens for families to make it easy for our seniors to come to our program and go back home. So what are some of the things we've learned from this pilot project? One of the things is be flexible, be flexible, be flexible. And I can't emphasize this enough. When we started offering our programming, especially the volunteering part with the seniors and children, we noticed that sometimes we couldn't separate the families from their children. So they needed, even though we had other concurrent parenting programs that were provided to families, some of them wanted to stay around. And that was wonderful, because then you have the 3-generational model. And we also offered 2 different timings. So we had one in the mornings and one in the afternoons. Many of our seniors, as you can imagine, newcomer seniors are taking language classes. So sometimes they're busy in the mornings or vice versa. So we had 2 different timings for this program. And that was very helpful. And with each time we do a program, we do a lot of we gather our facilitators together. We go over what's working, what's not, what can we change, what can be improved. So every time we're going through that process of improving our programming. And in the next slide, I can show you something, what our actual program looks like. So in the beginning, we have what is called free time. And here again, given our, as we learned from this pilot project, we noticed that not all our seniors could be active with our children. Some of them had mobility issues. Some preferred to play at tables with children. So we offered them many, many choices. So as you can see, there was active play. So there was invitation to play set up in such a way where, seniors would love to be active with children, they had that opportunity. Then we had table play with a display of many different dolls from different ethnic backgrounds, so they could see themselves being represented, and that was really nice to see that variety. They were very happy to see that. They would point out, does this doll look like me? And then we had arts and crafts. Some children are really drawn to that, and so are the seniors. So we had that and those 3 options. And then what does the actual program look like? We always start with a check-in, and these are like simple questions where everybody gets a chance to say something. So if it's like, what is your favorite color? They will share that with us. And as we build on that, what is your favorite season? These are simple things that everybody gets a chance to do. Rhymes and songs are a very important part of our programming. I can give you an example. So if we have all our children, families, and our seniors in a circle, we will do a rhyme like, how many fingers do you have? And everybody will count. So, if you're starting, how many fingers do you have? In English, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. In Spanish, you have uno, dos, tres. And then, in Arabic, you might have wahid, ithnan, thalatha. And in my language, Urdu, you have ek, do, teen. And same thing for Hindi. So you can imagine children listening to all this in a very diverse, space where they're hearing so many different languages and cultures and people so happy to share is something very magical for me to experience. There's always active play, and of course with that idea of, we have choices around that. And then, we always end the program usually with a book or an oral story. And, many of our seniors are learning language, so we encourage them to retell the story. We can see that they love doing this part, because it's also like it helps all generations learn language, and it's fun. So one thing that I'd really want to emphasize is resiliency is so important as part of our program. Our seniors, our families can be facing multiple barriers. Some of these are, as we've already mentioned, language related. Some are actually weather related. I can give you an example. We had some of our seniors, it was their first winter in Canada. So when we started in late summer, the project, one of them would come up to me after every program. She loved coming to the program, but she would say something like, "What about when it snows? Would I still be able to come? The only snow I've ever seen is in the freezer." So when she came here, she had never seen snow ever in her life. So you can imagine it's a big step for them to take. The weather here can be pretty challenging. And then, cultural differences, we are so respectful as our team. We try to, if somebody doesn't want to hold someone's hand, because in their culture, they don't hold hands with the opposite gender, we try to accommodate. We still try to create a very caring and kind environment, but we make sure that we're not putting them in an awkward situation. And then we have other resources. So we have a lot of other people that we can refer them to, or other organizations. And of course, we have what we call, I'm forgetting the name now. We have workers that work specifically, I think they're called not social workers, there's a name for them. Settlement workers. Thank you, Jean. Thank you. Settlement workers who may know different languages, and they actually have many more resources that they can refer our seniors to. So we've done that for quite a number of our seniors. And I would like to emphasize that, we always think like this. If I can't do it, it's actually, I can't do it yet. So we keep, going through these barriers one after one, figuring out solutions. And our last slide is intergenerational relationships. You can see the smiles on the senior and the child working together. They do make an amazing difference. That's been my experience. And I would like to leave you with an email we received from one of our participants. And the title of this email, I'm just going to read a little bit from it, not the whole thing, keeping time in mind. Grand Friends, which is our Mosaic program, it's intergenerational Grand Friends, we call them, is a real treat. Singing, playing, laughing, and having a good time is mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy for all human beings, and essential when building strong, lasting relationships. Not only is this a beneficial program for Manitobans or immigrants, I would like to see this kind of community program become a standard across Canada in all communities. Children are not only the future, but they are the least corrupted of unnatural aspects of modern society. It is because of this, and not only can children learn a lot from adults, but adults can learn a lot from children. Most importantly, though, these kinds of programs bring people of all ages, gender, religion, and backgrounds together to share, learn, and grow together. The more united a community or a society is, the stronger, more knowledgeable, and happy it is. I hope Mosaic continues with this program, continues to develop it, and expand its reaches to more communities and individuals nationwide. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you to all of our presenters again today. If you'd like more information about our partners, here are their websites, and please feel free to go on them. Lots of interesting information there. For more information on our intergenerational volunteering program and the rest of Families Canada initiatives, please visit our website, www.familiescanada.ca. Be sure to check out our resources section, which is filled with various resources for parents, practitioners, and other caregivers as well. For example, together with our partners in this project, we developed a programming guide that would help community organizations introduce or enhance an intergenerational program at their centers. This resource kit has a number of fun, low-cost, and simple activities that are suitable for older adults and very young children. It's available on our website for free in English and French. Also, please stay tuned for our newest video in our Family Life in Canada video series, which is titled Being a Senior in Canada. Once again, this is developed in partnership with the partners on this project, and this video will be available on our YouTube channel in the coming weeks and will be available in 6 languages. Thank you everyone for attending this webinar. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.